Hello, Quincy High School students and staff. I want to start by thanking Mr. Green and our film and TV students for producing today's message. I hope that everyone is well. We are coming to the end of term 2, and just a reminder that grades close next Friday, January 28th, marking the halfway point of the year. Unbelievable. Today I am joined by our assistant principal, Mrs. Murray, and we're sharing this video to focus on the expectations in the common spaces of our school, such as the restrooms, the hallways, and the cafeteria.
Thank you, Mr. Taglieri, and hello, students. So we're going to do this a little bit like an interview, and I'll be asking Mr. Tag to explain the updated student expectations. It's going to be fun. So, Mr. Tag, why are we bringing this policies up now?
Well, that's a great question, Mrs. Murray. We actually heard concerns from many students and staff about issues in the restrooms and students wandering. We don't want anyone here to be uncomfortable, and we definitely don't want people hanging out in areas where they shouldn't be instead of being in class. We want everyone in their classes ready to learn.
You're right about that, Mr. Tag. At the start of the year, we assigned restroom monitors to keep the number down in the restrooms due to COVID protocols. Right. These monitors are there also to help create a safe environment. So when a student's signing into the restroom, what should they expect?
Any student out of class, as usual, should have a pass. And going forward, students will need a pass to sign into the restroom. The restroom monitors, which I'm so grateful for our staff who are doing that, will be expecting a pass, and they've been instructed not to allow any student without a pass into the restroom. The pass needs to be legible like all other passes, with your name, the teacher's name, and the date and the time. Students then need to show their pass and then sign in. And a reminder, only 3 students are allowed in the restroom at one time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What about going to the library, nurse, guidance, deans, or using that elevator?
The students must have a pass, to go anywhere when they're not inside a class that they're supposed to be in. But you know what, the library, that's worth revisiting, just making sure everybody's on the same page. If a student wants to go to the library from their study, they need to report to the study hall teacher. So report to your study hall teacher first. Your study hall teacher will search a Google Doc to see if there is space with Ms. Vellante in the library. If there is, he or she will sign you up onto the Google Doc and give you a physical pass to go to the library. You mentioned the elevator too, and this is very important. The elevator is there for our students who need it. So the only way that you can get on the elevator or have access to the elevator is a pass from the nurses. Without that, please stay off of the elevator, and anyone found on the elevator will refer directly to the dean.
Great. Yep. I always feel badly for those students who need the elevator and it's not available because other students are just taking advantage of it. Just to switch gears a little bit, I don't know about you, Mr. Tag, but when I walk through the hallways and interact with students sitting down on the benches or at CAF tables during class time, they're always telling me they're out of their study hall. Do students need passes to be out of study hall?
Well, kind of like we just went over, to be anywhere that when you're not in your assigned class, you need a pass. And study hall is treated just like a class because it is on your schedule, the student's schedule. And students need to be where they're supposed to be. So students cannot spend study hall unsupervised in places like the cafeteria and the hallways. I've come across students like that as well. And the nicest of students, and really, not really, would say bothering anybody, but we just need our students supervised in the place that they're supposed to be at all times. But study is also a great time for students to get help from a teacher, so I just want to review real quick. If you want to see one of your teachers during your study, you should get a pass from that teacher that you're going to see before you go to the study. Bring that pass from the teacher you want to go see to your study hall teacher, and they will send you out, okay? You just need to know study hall teachers will be taking attendance, just like in all other classes. And skipping study hall will lead to detention, Saturday school, and possibly suspension. So please, go to your assigned study hall.
That's exactly right, please. Last year was so different. I mean, it's important to remember that we're all back in this building and to ensure that we all stay safe. We need to be where we're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you bring up last year, and last year was different to say the least. And I think as a school and a school community, we made a lot of accommodations about how we went about things. And from everything with all the different learning models, and certainly there was kind of like an open campus kind of piece.
Right.
And that was with 800 students, and now we're back to, you know, the 1,475 students that you all make up. We just need to have those pieces back in place. The things that we're sharing now, our juniors and seniors are very familiar with. These are not new expectations or policies. We didn't just make these up now. It's just important to make sure that everyone is aware of these expectations and that we are clear of what they are.
Yeah, you're so right about that. And people shouldn't be surprised when they are required to have a pass or et cetera. I mean, the other day, a teacher was telling me that when she asked a student for a pass in the hallway, the student reacted in a pretty rude manner. We know how great our students are. And why would somebody do that?
Well, I'm not sure, and I know that these aren't easy times for anyone, but something that we can always do is we can always be kind and respectful. And so that's what we're absolutely looking for. And students, you should all know that we're asking the security staff and the teachers and other support staff to help make sure that students are where they're supposed to be. It's not a bad thing. And it should not surprise you if you're in the hallways or heading to a destination and you're asked for a pass. This is just what we do.
Absolutely. In a school this size, it's a necessity and will actually make things easier for all of us, students and staff. One more time, let's shift gears for a minute and talk about the lunches, especially since we have more students inside now that it's getting cold out.
Right. So we, as you know, we're still dealing with all the precautions and protocols that we can to but best keep you and staff safe. We're keeping the masks up, and I appreciate that. And you know, we're very cognizant of those times that we're together in large groups. Obviously, lunch is our biggest one. So in the fall, we were very fortunate to be able to have tables outside. And you know what? We'll do that again when the nice weather comes. And not just during COVID, we'll do that for years to come. I thought the students really enjoyed that, so we'll keep that going. But now that the weather has changed, and while we've spread the tables out in the rotunda and in the main lobby, we're looking to get more tables now. We want to keep our spacing as best we can. But during lunch, please know that students must stay within these spaces. Okay, you need to stay on the first floor, and you know you can't go down by the art wing. And otherwise, the first floor is pretty wide open. You can't go all the way down the end of the D wing. You'll see a guidance counselor there waiting for you. But we do want you comfortable, and we do want you spread out. Okay. There's no going upstairs. You wouldn't be able to use the restroom upstairs because you would never pass. You would never pass to go during that time. So I appreciate all your help, all students' help during lunchtime.
Yeah, definitely. And that makes a lot of sense because, again, it comes down to safety. When it says lunch on your schedule, we need to be able to find you at lunch in the cafeteria. I do want to say that the students are doing a great job in the caf cleaning up after themselves at lunch. We notice it, we see it. This is our school and that's your space. I mean, it's important to take care of it, so thank you.
I agree. Students have been great about that. I enjoy going to lunch personally, and as many as I can, and seeing the students. And I've always seen students that will, help out when someone else leaves their trash and helps out with the cafeteria workers. Very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Is that it, Mrs. Murray? What do you want to end with? End on a positive note?
I think so. I mean, it looks like it. It says, I say it all the time, Quincy High is the best kept secret in the state. And we all know how great this place is. So we just have to start showing our pride a little bit more.
So true. So just to wrap up, we basically covered 4 things today.
Yep.
One is that students will be required to present a pass that is signed with the time and date when they're in the hallways. Yep. That's for anything. Two, we cover the need for students to attend their study halls. And that students cannot go to the library unless they've gone through that process that we outlined with the Google form.
Yep.
And three, that they stay off the elevator. Now, that's a pretty simple one, but it's a very important one. Let's please be respectful of all of our other students. And lastly, we reviewed that during lunches, please stay in your designated areas on the first floor. For many of you, I do know that these things are nothing new or earth-shattering, and I do believe that by following these simple procedures, we will improve the overall atmosphere and the common spaces throughout our school. Thank you so much for listening, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to stop by my office at any time. And of course, any time together would not be complete without
Think for yourself,
work together
share with the world.
and be aware of self and others.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.